Hi, I'm Tracy.
I'm April,
and this is Killer Spirits. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
How are you today?
Fantastic. How are you?
It's the weekend that's almost over.
I know.
I know, it's always sad.
I will say I usually get sad on Sundays because like the weekend's over, but now we do the podcast on Sundays. So
I know.
It's
that's
not that
true.
bad.
That's true. Something to look forward to,
Yeah.
at least. So how was your weekend?
Good. Very busy.
Yeah.
We planted some flowers in the front.
Nice.
I don't know if you saw those or not on your weekend.
Hey, last week in our beautiful drink that we made, which I suddenly can't think of what the name of it was. Why can't I think? Okay, so stupid. But anyway,
I remember nothing.
Our beautiful, I don't know. We have
the
amnesia.
purple one.
The purple one. We used one of your flowers from your front yard, and they are edible.
Yeah, pansies are edible.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, so we, I don't know, dug up a bunch of stuff and then put some black weed barrier down, which took a million years.
Wow.
And then we went to the nursery yesterday and got plants and planted them.
Nice. The whole do-it-yourself yard thing.
That's our jam.
Yeah, it's not my jam.
Yeah.
I'm not a DIYer.
Yeah.
At all.
I think we DIY a little too much sometimes.
I like to hire people.
And then Eric's mostly finished the fence.
Nice.
On that
the
side.
fence is gorgeous.
The fence looks amazing.
Putting that out there for everyone. I'm very proud of their fence making abilities.
That was mostly Eric. I mean, I helped with the first part.
Yeah.
But he did most of it. And yeah, it looks great.
Well, while you were digging weeds or putting in whatever.
You were having way more fun than me.
I was hanging out at a winery for a birthday. Hi, Rusty. You will probably never listen to this.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Rusty.
birthday, Rusty. Anyway, it was a beautiful winery, and we had the run of the whole place. The rooms were suites, and they were gorgeous.
The pictures looked amazing.
They made us dinner. I mean, I felt very pampered, and it was amazing.
So they rented out the whole place?
They rented out the whole place. It was
I would never even think to do that.
Yeah, and one of the nice things is because there was only 6 of us there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we didn't have to wear masks because it was just us.
Right.
We all know each other and we are all safe and everything. But, it was great. It was so much fun. And we got to sit out there with a fire pit in the freaking vineyards.
Yeah,
this
looked
place
awesome.
was deep in the vineyards. You keep driving back and I'm like, where are we going? And it was so fun.
What's the place called? Can you say what it's called?
I can. It's called Grand Reserve Inn.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll give them a shout out because they did a beautiful job and the dinner was beautiful. And if you're ever in Amador County in California, go check out. It's They're called Wilderotter. That's the name of the winery.
That's a cool name.
Wilderotter, yeah. So anyway, it was a lot of fun, and that's how the rich must feel. I'm like, wow, this is so great. People waiting on me, and you go to your room and there's a fire lit.
That's
and there's
nice.
chocolates there. The bed was sleeping on a cloud. And I'm just like, wow.
That is how the rich feel.
I want to live like this every day.
You can't. You don't have the money.
I know. But it sure was nice for a day.
Yeah. Sometimes you have really good friends that invite you to do fancy shit that you wouldn't normally do.
Exactly.
You're like, wait, are you guys going to pay for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks, Rusty and Diana.
Yeah.
It's your little shout out today.
Yeah.
We love you. Okay, so I'm actually excited about the drink today because it is so incredibly beautiful.
And so incredibly easy to make.
It was actually so easy, and we basically just kind of used some things that we already had in our cabinet, which I like to do because that means you guys should have it too, or pretty much. Easy stuff. We didn't get anything wild.
No.
Though,
and actually, we used a tiny airplane bottle.
We did.
That's how cheap I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy a full bottle of something. I'll just buy the little airplane bottle.
Right. Yeah. And we happen to have it, so we didn't have to go to the store today. This is our easiest drink ever, I think. So last weekend, we did use our Empress Gin. Mm-hmm. That's the one that is the beautiful purple color, and it's because of butterfly
pea blossoms.
Pea blossoms. That's right.
Yes.
So April did talk about that one last week. So listen to last week's podcast and she'll tell you all about it because blah, blah, blah. I'm not going into it. So this week, our drink is called the Rubicon. And I'm really excited about it. It is a glorious, deep blue color. It kind of looks like maybe if you were swimming in the ocean in like the Caribbean or something like that. And so this is what I used in it. Super easy. And because today we were talking about, Julius Caesar, I wanted to do something a little like with an Italian, I don't know, lean to it. Mm-hmm. Is that the word I'm thinking of? So it is, for 2 drinks, I used 2 ounces of limoncello, 2 ounces of our Empress Gin, 2 ounces of blue curacao, and then 1 ounce of vermouth.
Dry vermouth.
And that's it, right?
That's it.
That was it. And so what I did, you shake it all up with ice together. And then I took a little bit of an orange peel and I kind of took the orange peel and went around the rim of the glass so you get the essence of the orange in there. Mm-hmm. And then pour your drink in and sip it. And I think the orange peel is the perfect complement to this.
Oh, it's a good
because there's a bit of a citrusy, orangey flavor to it. It is so beautiful and so good. Go check it out on our Instagram at killerspiritspod. And you can see pictures of it in a little video that we post.
Yeah,
and also on
TikTok.
TikTok. Go to TikTok. What did you
sent me? Talk.
You sent me a text and you said Tik and Talk, and I thought that was the cutest thing ever.
My phone did it.
I know, so cute. So anyway, follow us on Tik and Talk. And I can't remember what are we Killer Spirits Pod also? Yeah. Okay. So that's easy.
This tastes like candy to me.
It really is so pretty.
I can't think of what candy specifically, but
yeah, because it's not overly sweet, which is interesting.
Maybe like a gobstopper?
Oh, maybe.
Or something.
Yeah, and we didn't even have to use any simple syrup or anything.
No,
because everything just had such a
the limoncello is plenty sweet.
Yeah, the limoncello is kind of sweet, so that's why. But the color, my goodness.
Beautiful.
I keep thinking you could have like a mermaid party or something and use this too. Because it's so pretty.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, and I think the purple of the Empress Gin with the blue curacao.
Oh, it definitely brightened it up.
It brightened it up really well. So that's our drink today. And I love it. And I'm really excited because April's telling the story today.
You don't have to talk today?
Well, I'm going to talk, but I don't have to
you don't have to read or anything.
No, it's so exciting because I can listen to you and I like to learn things from you.
Well, we will see how actually interesting this story is because I did a fuckload of reading and I got very, very deep into the assassination of Julius Caesar. And you will see because you clicked on this one. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. He didn't even die yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like a whole episode in. He's not even dead.
Well, and
we're getting there.
I love history. And what's funny, well, no, I took ancient Greece, never mind. I was thinking of what I took in school as far as history.
This is kind of like akin to like Greek mythology.
True.
Stories.
True, but I don't remember learning about Julius Caesar. So I'm kind of dumb because it's like I either knew he died or he killed someone, but I don't really know. And I knew that he was all over Cleopatra. That's literally all I knew about
him. Some Cleopatra.
Yeah, well, who didn't?
Well, and what's interesting about their relationship is that I really don't. I mean, I go kind of into it, but I don't go that deep into it. I didn't even realize they were during the same time period.
Oh, you didn't?
For some reason, I think of Cleopatra as like a millennium ago, like forever ago, like not even like they couldn't even read. That's like in my mind. That's what I think of, like cave people.
Oh, geez,
old.
And you were really wrong.
And then I think of ancient Rome as like not that old. I don't know, maybe because they were like more advanced or
yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
What I don't know.
Yeah.
But actually Caesar was in his 50s and Cleopatra was in her 20s.
Dang.
She was even younger than him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear. Let's get started on the story. Yeah, actually I am. Been ready.
So, first of all, I'll talk about my sources. Today, mostly random internet searches thrown with Wikipedia and History Channel and a bunch of other stuff because it's like backstory and history. Mm-hmm. But I also did listen to The Death of Caesar by Barry Strauss, which is a book.
Oh, interesting.
And Barry Strauss is an American historian and professor of history and classics at Cornell University.
Oh.
And he has written several amazingly comprehensive books on historical ancient civilizations and wars.
Awesome.
So his book is definitely a different take on the assassination of Caesar, on like the reasons why it happened, the relationships he had, and also some things, because it's a Shakespeare play. Mm-hmm. Some things that Shakespeare left out,
right,
and relationships he had with people that if you've only like in English lit, you probably just read the Shakespeare version, and that some things are missing.
Of course, I mean,
so
it was a performance,
right?
Yeah,
it
like, literally was a
obviously
performance.
Writers, what is it?
I mean, it's like doing a screenplay. You're going to embellish things. You're going to change things because it's literally like a performance. So,
and also like this was 2,000 years ago.
Oh, true.
So it's, been translated several times. And maybe that's why he didn't get things perfectly right.
And honestly, maybe that's how I even knew anything about Julius Caesar,
probably
because of the Shakespeare play.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people, at least in this book that Barry Strauss talks about, like, that's what people think is the epitome of the story. That's what really happened, and that may not be the case.
Right.
So he kind of makes a case for what he thinks actually happened.
Interesting.
Because he's a historian.
Because he's a historian.
Because some things I read were the texts from the Shakespeare play. Mm-hmm. But some things I read were like translated from Greek. So it's like, I don't,
So maybe possibly a little bit lost in translation, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a part in my research where I'll read a speech that he gave at his aunt's funeral. Mm-hmm. And it almost sort of doesn't make sense.
Because we translated
yes.
it.
And also because it was 2,000 years ago and they talked differently back then.
Oh, yeah.
Because, the those and the thous or whatever.
The those and the thous.
Whatever they said. But yeah, I think some things are kind of lost in translation a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which is true for a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay. So first, I'm going to go into some background about Julius Caesar. Okay. So, Gaius Julius Caesar was born into a patrician family, which was originally a group of ruling class families in ancient Rome. The gens Julia, which is one of the most ancient families.
Okay.
Which claimed descendant from Julius, son of the legendary Trojan prince Aeneas, supposedly the son of the goddess Venus.
Wow.
A Roman goddess whose functions encompassed love, beauty, desire, sex, fertility, prosperity, and victory. And I have to be honest, that's a fucking badass way to introduce somebody.
So basically,
like, we should still do that.
Julius Caesar is somehow related to Venus.
He is a descendant of a god in his mind.
Goddess.
Oh yeah, goddess. Right.
Wow.
They say the gods.
I mean, also, I feel like she's a great goddess.
I mean, she's the most killer goddess.
Yeah, she is.
I'm not saying that just because I'm a Virgo.
Oh, okay. That's true. Okay, go ahead.
So I just had to take a sip of my drink.
Oh, yeah. Take a sip.
So, yeah, I wish more people were introduced like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to be descendant from a goddess.
I think you could just say that you are. I'm pretty sure your 23andMe profile said
descendant of a goddess.
You were a descendant of somebody.
I'll just have to pick one. So, despite their ancient pedigree, the Julii Caesaris, which is like their family name, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Were not especially politically influential, although they had enjoyed some revival of their political fortunes in the early 1st century BC. You called BC something else last week or the week before.
Oh, I did, because BC, I can't remember now because I would need my notes, but I know BC really meant like before Christ.
Yes.
So there was another way to say it. Non-Christians say it a different way.
Okay.
But I can't remember what that is.
Well, I'm going to say BC.
That's fine.
Because I don't know what the other one is.
Just choose one and go with it.
Yeah. So Caesar's father, also called Gaius Julius Caesar, governed the province of Asia. And his sister Julia, Caesar's aunt, married Gaius Marius, one of the most prominent figures in the Republic. His mother, Aurelia Cotta.
Oh, I know an Aurelia. That's a beautiful name.
A very good name. Came from an influential family, but little is recorded of Caesar's childhood. We don't really know about him as a kid.
Okay.
Probably a regular kid. I don't know.
Probably a regular dude.
In 85 BC, Caesar's father suddenly died.
Oh.
So Caesar was the head of the family at the age of 16.
Oh, wow. That's a lot at 16.
Yeah.
But I mean, 16 back in those days, you were like practically 80
like a
already.
man.
Yeah.
His coming of age coincided with a civil war between his uncle, Gaius Marius, and his aunt's husband.
Yeah.
And his uncle's rival, Lucius Cornelius Sulla.
Mm.
Both sides carried out bloody purges of their political opponents. Marius, his uncle, and his ally, which is almost identical name, Lucius Cornelius Cinna. So Sulla's the one he's fighting. Cinna is his friend.
Got it.
Were in control of the city when Caesar was nominated as the new Flamen Dialis.
What's that?
A high priest of Jupiter. So
I want to be just introduced as that. That's
you
amazing.
May call me the Flamus.
You may call me the high priestess of Jupiter.
So the way I understand it, and I could be totally wrong about this because I did very little research into like the high priest part of it. Because Jupiter is a god, right?
Right.
So each one of the gods had their own sort of like cults.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Catholics have a saint that they identify with.
Right.
So it's kind of like that, I think.
Okay.
So he was sort of like a clergyman style for Jupiter.
Okay.
So for the people that follow Jupiter, he was a man of faith associated with that.
Nice.
I hope I explained that right.
It
sounds good, right?
It sounds great.
Okay. And he was married. Caesar was married to Cinna, his uncle's friend's daughter.
Oh, he's little still.
Yes. Cornelia, which is also a good name.
It is a great name.
Following Sulla's final victory, so the adversary's victory over his uncle and his uncle's friend, Caesar's connections to the old regime, his uncle and his uncle's friend and his wife, made him a target for the new regime.
Of course.
So he was stripped of his inheritance, his wife's dowry, and his priesthood. He's no longer the high priest of Jupiter. But he refused to divorce Cornelia and was forced to go into hiding.
Ooh.
He was like, I don't want to divorce my wife.
Maybe he actually loved his wife. Go fig.
Maybe he had a lot of wives, but...
Oh, he did?
I'm sure he loved some of them. Right?
I don't know. I would hope so. I mean, of course, marriages, especially back then, were very political.
Right.
As well.
Yeah.
Obviously, but that doesn't mean that people didn't love their spouses.
Yeah.
As you say.
So he didn't want to divorce her, so he went into hiding. The threat against him was lifted by the intervention of his mother's family, which included supporters of Sulla. So they're like, hey, take it easy on the kid. You're our friend. He's our, relative.
Right.
Be nice.
Be nice.
So Sulla, the guy in charge, gave in reluctantly.
Oh, wow.
But the loss of his priesthood had allowed him to pursue a military career because, as the high priest of Jupiter, he was not permitted to touch a horse.
What?
Sleep 3 nights outside his own bed or 1 night outside of Rome, or look upon an army.
Okay.
So there was no way he could be a military man and be the high priest of Jupiter.
I guess not, because it's a whole different level of whatever.
But once they relinquished his priesthood...
I feel like you can touch a horse all day long now, buddy.
You can pet that horse all day. So Caesar felt that it would, even though Sulla was like, okay, you're fine, he felt that it would be much safer to be far away from him.
Okay.
Because he's a dictator in charge, and he could change his mind.
Yeah, I mean, can you really?
And
he's
just
not
be like,
trustworthy.
off with his head.
Yeah. And also, psych, I was just kidding.
Yeah. Actually, you pissed me off, so.
Yeah, I hate you.
So he left Rome and joined the army. He served with distinction, winning the civic crown for his part in the siege of... I'm going to really try to say these right.
Okay.
Because these are legit Greek words, and I looked up the pronunciation, so we're going to see.
You mean enunciation? Just kidding.
Pronunciation?
Go ahead.
Pronouncement?
Yeah, go.
He won the civic crown for his part in the siege of Mytilene.
Oh, that makes me hungry. It
In
sounds
Greece.
like a pasta.
He went on a mission to Bithynia to secure the assistance of King Nicomedes' fleet.
Oh.
But he spent so long at Nicomedes' court that rumors arose of an affair with the king, which Caesar vehemently denied for the rest of his life. Which I think was
so
kinda
they
funny.
were saying that Julius and the king
Getting
were
it
getting it
on.
out. Bow chicka
Which,
wow wow.
you know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and who would have cared? Except that he was married.
Yeah.
That part. And what happened to his wife? He just left her and went to the army?
We'll get to his wife.
He's like, I don't want to divorce you, but also bye.
Yeah. So Sulla died in 78 BC.
Oh.
So at that point, Caesar felt safe enough to return to Rome, but he lacked means since his inheritance was confiscated.
Right.
And so he required a modest house in Subura,
Oh, good job.
a lower class neighborhood of Rome. He turned to legal advocacy and became known for his exceptional oratory, accompanied by impassioned gestures in a high-pitched voice.
What?
And ruthless prosecution of former governors notorious for extortion and corruption.
Okay, so he was kind of like a prosecutor?
Yeah.
Why? What's up with the high-pitched voice?
I
They
don't
just
know.
said that's how he sounded?
Yeah. Like
Oh,
maybe he was
okay.
just, when he got passionate, got a little squealy. Maybe.
Maybe.
He seemed like kind of a, I mean, I know the statues they have of him make him look like a huge man because he was like, you know, somebody very important.
Do we know his stats, like how tall he was, or they don't know?
I could look it up.
Oh, I was just wondering if, like, they knew how tall he was. They may not know.
He seems, I don't think he was that big.
Oh, okay.
In the face, he doesn't look like he's a big man.
Yeah.
He looks like kind of a small man.
And I feel like also back then, people in general were shorter.
Yeah.
So that would make
Yeah.
sense.
And you know how when people are very famous back then, they lied about stuff.
Oh, like, yeah. Like Henry VIII.
Yeah, I fathered
Yeah.
150 kids and I was 8 feet tall and
Right. Or like, you know, all of his photos, it makes him look all svelte, but really he was just like, you know,
a pudgy old man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That makes sense. So you just never know based on busts or paintings or
Yeah.
things like that.
Although there was only one bust done of Caesar's face while he was still
Oh.
alive.
Okay.
Not said to be the most accurate one.
Oh, are we posting it?
Sure. It has no nose, but
But still.
well, maybe it does have a nose. Because you know they're all broken.
Well, yeah,
shit.
it protrudes.
It protrudes.
It protrudes.
And I also saw like a moving to Cleopatra again. I also saw a probably more realistic reenacted photo of Cleopatra.
Okay.
Not the cutest.
Oh, back then though, she was the shit.
She really was.
She was beautiful.
I know.
I mean, society's standards of beauty could change and change and
That's
change.
true.
And so, you know.
But I guess I always think of her as like with like I don't know, Beyonce's face or something. Like just like the most
Okay.
beautiful, pristine face.
Yeah.
And shit, it's not really like that.
Yeah. I know. I
She's
see what
regular.
you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, hey, I think regular's kind of beautiful. I'm into regular.
On the way across the Aegean Sea, which is an inlet of the Mediterranean Sea,
Mm-hmm.
Caesar was kidnapped by pirates and held prisoner. He maintained an attitude of superiority throughout his captivity. The pirates demanded a ransom of 20 talents of silver. Well, I know what a talent of silver is. I'm guessing it's like a bushel or a
bushel.
something.
I have no idea.
But he insisted that they ask for 50. After the ransom was paid, Caesar raised a fleet, pursued and captured the pirates, and imprisoned them. So they let Caesar go, and then he was like, I'm going to fuck you up.
He's like, listen, bitches.
And they were like, you're not going to fuck us up. Like, it's fine.
Like,
We'll
we're
take the
pirates.
ransom.
Hello.
Yeah, we'll take the ransom and, like, float away or whatever.
But they didn't.
No. He caught up to them, and he had them crucified.
He's like, try to kidnap me again. Let's see how that goes for you.
Bitches.
Wow.
Like legit crucified, like nailed to a cross.
I wonder who paid the ransom.
I don't know. Maybe Rome.
So he actually nailed them to a cross.
Yes.
Wow.
As he had promised while he was in captivity, a promise that the pirates had taken as a joke. But as a sign of leniency, he had their throats cut first.
What a grace.
So they didn't have to actually be tortured on the cross. They were already dead. So they were crucified dead.
Okay.
So not a joke. Not joking.
No.
No. And he has several instances of not joking.
Interesting.
Yeah. He's pretty...
Hardcore.
Like, he was very charismatic, but he was hardcore, for sure. On his return to Rome, he was elected military tribune, a first step in a political career. He was elected as a word that I cannot say, but it means an investigator.
Okay.
I even looked up the pronunciation of it. I'm not even going to
try
it.
Try it.
It's not even on here. I took it off.
Wow.
It just says an investigator. In 69 BC, and during that year, he delivered the funeral oration for his aunt, Julia.
Oh.
It included 2 images of her husband, Marius, which was his uncle in the beginning, in the funeral procession, and his pictures had been unseen since the days of Sulla. So since he lost the war, he was like not allowed to be seen anymore.
His actual person or
Pictures of his uncle.
Like what kind of pictures?
Because he's a loser.
Like they didn't have a fucking camera
paintings.
back then.
It says images.
Oh, okay. So maybe
paintings?
It could have been busts. It could have been paintings.
Something.
It could have been...
Because his uncle was like a guy in power.
Yeah.
So he probably had something made of him.
Yeah.
Where was I? Oh, the oration he made at his aunt's funeral is very well known and may tell you a bit about why Caesar found himself to be so important.
Oh.
Sometimes even to a divine level, which I'll come back to in part 2. There seems to be a constant battle or conversation at this time about gods versus kings, but Caesar was pretty clear in his speech about where he believes he stood. In quotes. The family of my Aunt Julia is descended by her mother from the kings, and on her father's side is akin to the immortal gods. For the Marcii Regis, go back to Ancus Marcus, which is a legendary 4th king of Rome. The family of which ours is a branch to Venus. So see how that's like not quite... It's a little bit lost.
Okay, yeah.
In translation. So basically he's saying on the mother's side, it's all kings and royals.
Mm-hmm.
And on the father's side, it's Venus.
So basically he's king and god.
Yes.
Gods.
Indeed. Our stock, therefore, has at once the sanctity of kings, whose power is supreme among mortal men, and the claim to reverence which attaches to the gods, who hold sway over kings themselves.
Wow.
So that's famously quoted.
Basically, he's the shit.
He's the
is what he's
shit.
saying. I'm the shit.
I'm the shit, in case you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
God and king. Although I may be stripped of my inheritance and dowry and everything else, like, I'm still the shit.
Yeah, it doesn't take away what my lineage is.
Yes. His wife, Cornelia, also died that year.
Oh.
The same year that his aunt died.
How come? Or we don't know?
We don't know. She just died.
I don't like it.
Yeah, Caesar went to serve in Hispania, which is now Spain. They called it Hispania back then.
Oh, okay. That's right. I've seen that written before.
After her funeral, in the spring or early summer of 69 BC. While there, he is said to have encountered a statue of Alexander the Great and realized with dissatisfaction that he was now at an age when Alexander had the world at his feet, while he had achieved comparatively little.
So Julius is like, thought I was the shit, but I haven't done shit.
Feeling pretty bad about himself.
I am the shit, but I haven't done shit.
Yeah, like, look at Alexander the Great. Like, I haven't done anything near what he did.
Well, he's not called Julius the Great. For a reason.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you know, as far as conquering.
And I mean, how old was he at this point? Like 22?
Yeah, he's still pretty young.
Yeah, I mean, he's like still a baby. But yeah, I mean, back then, 22, you'd probably have grandkids.
Maybe.
Maybe
I mean, he already got ransomed by pirates.
And crucified them.
And crucified them, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's intense.
So, I mean, he's done some shit.
He's done some shit.
Yeah.
But he hasn't done enough in his mind.
Okay.
On his return in 67 BC, so 2 years later, he married Pompeia, a daughter or granddaughter of Sulla.
The bad guy?
Yes.
Interesting.
Whom he later divorced in 61 BC.
They had divorced back then?
6 years later. Yeah, they did. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it is.
After her embroilment in the Bona Dea scandal.
What at?
So, Bona Dea is a good goddess. It means good goddess in Latin. And she was a goddess in ancient Roman religion associated with chastity and fertility in Roman women, healing, and the protection of the state and people of Rome. Pompeia had gone to the Bona Dea rites, which was a festival for women only. RITES. Not rights.
Oh, yeah,
Like
I know what
women's
you're saying. Rights, yeah.
So it was a big festival. Only girls were allowed.
Like a rite of passage kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It was shrouded in secrecy from the Roman men, which I think is so cool. I would hella do that now. But the women got to drink strong wine.
Ooh.
Hey. And do blood sacrifices. And,
hey!
and other stuff that was forbidden by Roman tradition.
Okay.
And I think even the extent to the things they were allowed to do there are not even known.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Like they were cutting up.
They were
girls only.
They were cutting up and literally cutting up.
Girls only cutting up. Blood oaths.
Wow.
But a politician named the worst name, Publius.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at your
Okay. Publius Claudius Pulcher. Is that like... not the most vile name?
Publius.
Publius? Okay, so he was kind of like I don't want to say like an anarchist. He was like a naysayer of the government. He was like a protester. He was basically like a shit stirrer back then. Okay. So this guy infiltrated the event disguised as a woman.
What?
Yeah. With the alleged motive to seduce Pompeia.
Ew.
Yeah, like he was somehow going to seduce her because she's Caesar's wife.
Get out.
Which didn't happen. He's an idiot. But he did end up getting not court-martialed, like, you know, had to go to trial or whatever.
Oh, okay.
He broke the law.
Yeah.
But Caesar divorced her anyway because he felt like his wife must be above suspicion.
Oh, and like now so this makes you look bad.
Yeah, the fact that you were even involved or may have been involved in this is like bad juju on the I can't.
Which is basically kind of what happened with Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. She was accused of things he had zero proof, but he executed her anyway.
Well, he didn't execute her.
Okay, Julius did a little bit better, but I'm just saying, like, it's like this has nothing to do with me. These are just rumors, but, you know, it makes him look bad.
Yeah. And he knew that he was headed for the top. He didn't want to look bad.
Well, yeah, he was needed like, the great.
Let me ditch this lady.
Oh.
So anyway, they got divorced. In 65 BC, a couple years later, 2 years later. Oh no, I guess I'm backtracking. They got divorced in 61. This is in 65. He was elected Curule Aedile.
Okay.
Curule Aedile.
What's that?
Which is like a festival director.
Oh, wow. He's getting around.
Yeah, and he staged lavish games that won him further attention and popular support.
Okay.
So he, like, putting on fun events.
Like entertainment of the time. Because, you know, you're not watching your iPad.
They say games like, you know, it's like dancing and people doing feats of strength or whatever. I don't know. And in 63 BC, he ran for election to the post of Pontifex Maximus, which is the chief high priest of the Roman state religion. He ran against two powerful senators, and accusations of bribery were made by all sides.
Of course.
Caesar won comfortably, despite his opponent's greater experience and standing.
Because he stood out in the crowd at that point. People liked him.
And they said that, like, there was some conspiracy to overthrow this chief high priest thing, the election or whatever.
Yeah.
But nothing really happened, and he was elected.
Oh, okay.
So there's some story behind it, but I didn't really go into it. So moving along to 49 BC. So from 63 to 49, he upped his rank to basically governor.
Hey, governor.
He got pretty high up in the government.
Okay.
And from 49 BC to 45 BC, there was a civil war raging in Rome.
Oh, jeez.
And the civil war was kicked off by Julius Caesar.
Of course.
So, Caesar, Gnaeus, maybe it's just Gnaeus, Pompeius Magnus, which I'm going to call Pompey, and Marcus Licinus Crassus, which I'm going to call Crassus, were all prominent politicians in the Roman Republic. Pompey was the greatest military leader of the time, having won many notable wars. And although he won the war against Spartacus in 73 BC, Crassus was mostly known for his fabulous wealth, which he acquired through intense land speculation. And both Pompey and Crassus had extensive patronage networks. So, those are two pretty good guys to team up with.
Yeah, it sounds like
if you're trying to get high up in the government.
I mean, Spartacus. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And there were other wars that Pompey won.
Which is weird because
I get into all. It was like 5 or 6 of them.
We've all heard the name Spartacus.
Yes,
but I don't know if many people have heard the name Pompey.
Nope.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for the entire world, but I'm just saying I've never heard the name Pompey.
I haven't either. I really did think it was Pompeii. It's not Pompeii. That's a place.
It's spelled differently.
Yes. The Roman Republic was set up in a way that there were checks and balances, sort of like any democracy is now. It was designed to prevent a man from rising above the rest and creating a monarchy. Didn't want a king. But of course, corruption government.
What a surprise.
These 3, so Pompey, Crassus, and Caesar, formed a secret alliance that they would use their respective influence in government to help each other. According to some scholars, the alliance was not at heart a union of those with the same political ideals and ambitions, but one where all were seeking personal advantage.
Oh, of course.
Which sounds like modern times.
It absolutely... things never change.
Yeah.
Especially politically.
Over and over again.
Exactly.
Those 3 men called their alliance the First Triumvirate.
Triumvirate?
Yes. And triumvirate's used again a lot of times. So I guess this 3-party alliance thing has happened again and again over history.
Okay.
It's like a whole Wikipedia page of a shitload of them that happened.
Makes, it would be 3, so.
Right.
I don't know what an umvirate is, though. Do you?
An alliance of 3?
Okay.
It's just one word. Triumvirate.
Right. I'm just thinking triangle.
Oh, yeah. The 3 of them shared power over Rome, sort of like main bosses or governors. And then the Senate, which was pretty large, kept everything balanced. So you have these 3 on top, and then all these other people at the bottom that are you can't do that, you can't do that.
Checks and balances.
Yeah, you keep their powers under control. The alliance was cemented with the marriage of Pompey with Caesar's daughter Julia in 59 BC.
Oh,
so Pompey became his son-in-law.
Daughter after his auntie.
He did.
Sweet.
Yeah. Apparently he had a lot of affection for his aunt.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It talks about her kind of a lot in the beginning. Thanks to this alliance, Caesar received an extraordinary command over Gaul and Illyria. So Illyria is now northern and central Albania, and Gaul is now basically France.
Okay.
Just to get a geographical standpoint.
France is such a better name than Gaul.
Yeah, Gaul.
Blah.
Yeah. So he had an extraordinary command over those 2 places for 5 years, so that he could start his conquest of Gaul. So he wanted to take it over.
Okay.
In 56 BC, the triumvirate was renewed at the Lucca Conference, where the members agreed to share the Roman provinces. Caesar could keep Gaul for another 5 years, while Pompey received Hispania, now Spain, and Crassus, Syria. Crassus embarked into an expedition against the Parthians to match Caesar's victories in Gaul. He's like, I want my own place too. I want to conquer my own land like Caesar did.
Yeah.
But he died.
Oh.
in a disastrous defeat in 53 BC.
In a what?
Disastrous defeat.
Oh, a disastrous defeat.
Yes. In 53 BC.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, so Crassus is dead.
Okay, so now it's the biumvirate.
Yeah.
Biumvirate.
Well, they're kind of dissolved.
It's nothing.
Yeah. So now it's just Pompey and Caesar.
Yeah.
With
biumvirate.
With the death of Crassus, the alliance was dissolved.
Okay.
And at this point, Caesar sort of stood out as a man of the people. I mean, before he was doing the lawyer thing and he was advocating for less fortunate folk. Yeah, air quotes, victims of whatever.
Yeah.
And he was calling out corruption and those kind of things. So he had a pretty good reputation. He advocated for reform. He postured as a supporter of the Popularis political party, which is Latin for favoring the people.
Okay.
Which favored the people.
Sounds good.
It favored the causes of the plebeians. They were also called plebs, or the common people.
The plebs.
I used to say plebs all the time.
You did?
Like, oh, you plebs.
Yeah, plebs.
Instead of peasants. You know.
Yeah.
It sought to root out corruption in government, opposed the death penalty and slavery, wanted to make land available for those outside of the senatorial elite. So
I'm liking all of this thus far.
Yeah, but I think wanted to make land available is more like take it away from the people who already bought it and give it to somebody else. Because they talk about
I don't like that
redistribution of land to the poor.
Unless it was taken like from people who deserve to be on it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
whatever. It sounded good to the people at the time,
and
obviously.
It's just what they supported. It's not really what they made happen, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
They supported debt relief and general welfare of people, etc.
Okay.
I will say Caesar postured himself as a supporter or member of the Popularis party because he used the party for support, but probably did not truly hold the genuine beliefs of the party.
Oh, you're saying he's a politician?
Politics.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I wrote. Politics.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he doesn't really give a shit about any of these people.
No, he just
needs a party to stand on top of.
Correct. And it's all what people want at the time.
Yes.
And so that's the good thing to be about.
Yes.
You know?
That's how you get the most support anyway.
Right.
Pompey, however, sided with the Optimates political party. They were the more conservative party, and they opposed many of the Popularis views. So Pompey and Caesar didn't see eye to eye on how the Republic should be governed, and Pompey actively fought Caesar in the Senate quite often. And after the death of Julia, which is Caesar's daughter and Pompey's wife, in 54 BC, they didn't share the strong connection they had previously had. So they kind of fell apart a little.
Yeah.
And it was only a year after Crassus died that Julia died.
Oh, that's terrible. She must have been so young.
Yeah. I think they were all pretty young.
Yeah. So he was technically his son-in-law.
Yes. He was
his
son-in-law. So with the Gallic, they call it the Gallic Wars. It's him taking over Gaul. After that had concluded, the Senate ordered Caesar to step down from his military command and return to Rome because his term as governor had ended.
Okay.
So they're like, okay, you're done. Like, goodbye. You go back to the Senate.
Goodbye.
It's the Senate or whatever. And Caesar's like, bet. Like, I don't think so.
Caesar's like, I'm sorry. Do you recall that I crucified people?
Yeah.
I do what I want.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, where was I?
Oh, sorry. I messed
blah, blah,
you
blah,
up.
blah, 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 blah. Leaving his command in Gaul would mean losing his immunity to criminal prosecution by his enemies.
Oh.
Which is not good.
No, not at all.
Because, I mean, I know I just kind of skip over the war in Gaul, but Caesar was pretty brutal.
Okay, yeah.
And there's
a reason there's a drink called the Bloody Caesar.
Yeah. His wars were not friendly.
Yeah.
So, knowing this, Caesar openly defied the Senate's authority by crossing the Rubicon River, that's our drink today, and marching towards Rome at the head of an army.
Oh,
so
wow.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, that's where he set off, and he's like, oh, I'm going to get you bitches. This began Caesar's Civil War. So we're back to where I started
talking
about the Civil War, which he won. leaving him in a position of near unchallenged power and influence.
Okay.
So he's basically a dictator.
So now he is the shit.
The ultimate shit.
The ultimate shit.
Yeah. And the whole point of the Roman Republic is that it's not a monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want a king.
Exactly.
So now that Caesar's left, I mean, it's not called the Assassination of Caesar for nothing.
They started becoming a monarchy. Yeah.
They did not like it.
Absolutely.
And with that many, I mean, you're talking about like 800 or 900 Senate people.
Wow.
Like, somebody's going to conspire something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So after the final battle against Pompey's army and the victory of Caesar, Pompey fled to Egypt with Caesar on his heels. However, the assassins sent by the child king Ptolemy of Egypt were faster than Caesar.
The child king?
Yes.
He's a baby?
He's a baby.
Wow.
Not a real baby.
No, but I mean, a child.
He was a child.
Yeah. Someone else is making some decisions.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe he's just a dumb kid because he really fucked this up.
Oh.
I mean, he ultimately fucked it up. You'll hear.
Okay.
King Ptolemy sought to gratify Caesar. So he's like, I don't want to piss Caesar off because he's now the leader of Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And Pompey just lost the civil war. So I don't really want him coming to Egypt either because, you know, maybe he's going to try to take us over now that he lost Rome. Right. So that's not what Pompey thought when he got there. So Pompey arrived by boat and he had like his servants and I think his wife was on the boat. I think he had a new wife. I don't know. His beloved followers were on the boat with him. And so this fishing boat with 3 soon-to-be assassins on it pull up next to Pompey's boat and they're like, oh yeah, no, everybody's waiting on the shore. Like, we're happy to receive you. You know, just come with us. And Pompey's like, why the fuck are you picking me up on a fishing boat?
Not liking this scenario.
And yeah, I was expecting like a grand, like, you know, I'm a fucking Roman. Like, I'm a leader of the Roman Republic. Like, yeah, I did just lose, but I'm still somebody
saying it's
important.
like picking up Beyonce and like, you know, like a Ford Focus?
Yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
What is this fishing boat? So he's like, okay, this is kind of weird. And he asked one of his servants to go with him. And so his servant goes. And then they embark away from the boat and go back to the shore. And there's a bunch of Egyptians on the shore watching. And some of Pompey's comrades are still on the boat, his other servants or whatever. Mm-hmm. Everyone's watching, and the assassins stab Pompey with swords.
Oh, geez.
In the boat.
I knew something bad was happening.
Yeah. They cut off his head.
Oy.
And dumped his naked body overboard.
Oh, my goodness.
Why he was naked, I have no idea. I have no clue. But the texts say that he was wearing a toga, so maybe that's why.
Oh, well, yeah.
I forgot that people wore togas back then.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much clothing
just kind of like slipped off.
Yeah.
So anyway, they chop his head off.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Keep his head on the boat.
Oh no.
Basically, just dump his body overboard, and they're like, tell his servant, like, for anyone who cares, there's his body, basically.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, that was kind of sad. But then Caesar shows up. And so because the Egyptians think they're doing something really cool for Caesar, they present him with Pompey's severed head.
Oh, so they're kind of like, hey, we
did
like, this
we
for
did,
you.
Dude.
Yeah.
Aren't you happy? And he also had a ring that had some kind of like animal inscription or something. It was like a wolf.
Pompey did?
Yeah. It was some kind of ring that he had. They call it a seal ring, but I don't really know what it looked like. And they gave him the head and the seal ring upon his arrival. But Caesar never intended for Pompey to die.
He's like, this was my son-in-law.
He's like, we are fighting armies. Like, we're not fighting each other. Like, calm down. And so after after Pompey was defeated and he fled to Egypt, and actually he fled to Egypt, I think, to reinvigorate an army and continue to fight Caesar. Caesar intended to capture him, bring him back to Rome, and pardon him in an act of clemency.
Wow.
So say like, you know, we're good. I mean, I am the ultimate supreme leader, but we are good. Caesar often used his clemency as one of his best propaganda tools. He used it to show that he is a superior Roman hero by forgiving his enemies. So, some sources say that when Caesar was handed the head, he wept for Pompey's death.
Oh.
But that may have been a political spin rather than true emotional reaction. Although he was the guy's father-in-law.
I was going to say, yeah.
So, and further beyond that, Pompey was a Roman. So he's like, at the very least, he did not deserve to be killed on a fishing boat in Egypt by some fucking plebs.
Wow.
Like, at the very least, he deserved to die, like, a noble death.
A hero or something.
Yeah, he's a fucking Roman. He deserves better than that.
Yeah.
So whether he cried or not, we don't know. I think in the play he cried.
Probably.
In the Shakespeare version he cried, but whether it actually happened, we don't know. So Caesar, being pissed that you killed this guy, had his assassins put to death.
Oh, crucified more people?
I don't know that he crucified them.
Killed more people.
Killed them. But one of them escaped.
Oh.
But much, much later in the story is captured and tortured to death.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So he didn't stay.
So he didn't escape for a lot, forever.
No. And that shows how, because actually the one that escaped was tortured to death after Caesar had already died.
Oh,
so that's like how fucking bad this was.
Like, try to escape. It doesn't matter that he's gone. We're still gonna F you up.
And like even the guy that, you know, hated you is now dead. We're still fucking after you, dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So at the time of Pompey's assassination, young King Ptolemy was engaged in a civil war with his sister, Cleopatra.
Oh.
They were fighting over the throne. And they were also married. Which I said is weird and maybe is not that weird.
Oh, because she married her brother?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
So he was the...
royalty, I don't know if they necessarily married brothers, but they probably did.
Yeah.
I know, like, there's a lot of first cousin things happening.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was her little brother. And she's like, I'm older. I'm very wealthy. I should be in control of this city. My little brother's a fucking idiot. He's like 14. And she's like in her 20s, wants to be in control of Egypt. But her brother's the boy. What? Okay, so after all this shit went down, Cleopatra sought help from Caesar.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, I don't think I can beat my brother on my own. He has, you know, a lot of support. He's the pharaoh. You know,
he's kind of the pharaoh.
Kind of a big deal. He has this army and I can't defeat him.
And I'm a woman.
I need your help.
Yeah.
And there's one thing Caesar's good at. It's war. And so he's like, well, you need Romans. I got Romans. I mean, you have to pay us, but I'll put my army on it.
Interesting.
So, from September 45 BC until January 47 BC, Caesar was besieged in Alexandria, Egypt, with about 4,000 men. And he was attempting to resolve the Egyptian civil war. And Caesar was clearly on Cleopatra's side. And I thought this little story was kind of funny. In order to avoid being caught by her brother's forces, Cleopatra was snuck into Alexandria while rolled up in a carpet. Her servant, disguised as a merchant, unrolled the queen in front of Caesar inside the general suite. I just thought that was so funny.
Ta-da!
Oh, yeah, she's just the queen of Egypt. Just
no big deal.
Roll her up in this rug, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like I couldn't breathe in there.
So she didn't get caught.
But yeah, I guess if your life's at risk, you got to do some shit.
Right. So at first, the relationship between Caesar and Cleopatra was a political alliance. She needed his help. He had the help.
Right.
Plus, Caesar was still pissed about the assassination of Pompey. He's like, I want to get your fucking brother. Because that's shitty what he did.
Right.
But then, their relationship turned romantic.
Oh.
Around 47 BC, Cleopatra gave birth to a son, Ptolemy Caesar. He was believed to be Caesar's child and was known by the Egyptian people as Caesarion, or Little Caesar.
Okay.
Caesar never denied the child was his, and if it was, he was Caesar's only biological male son. Male child. Male son is redundant. Male child. So really, I mean, guess technically his only heir.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
I mean, I could see why they named the pizza place Little Caesars and not Caesarians.
Oh, yeah, Little Caesars. So, yeah, that's Caesar's boy.
Wow.
And it's funny that he never denied it, but he never embraced it either. Because Caesar was still married. So his mistress was Cleopatra.
But I thought he got rid of that wife, or he got a new one after that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see.
He was married again.
Okay.
So, I don't go through all the marriages because they're not... I mean, some of them are important, but I think he got married like 4 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I guess... When I was reading through the stuff, I guess the Romans didn't really feel like that was a big deal.
No, I don't
I think
so.
having mistresses and illegitimate children was not like a problem.
I mean, it's like royalty in a bunch of places. I mean, it was just kind of a known secret, I guess would be the best way of saying it. Yeah, so like this child stayed with Cleopatra, stayed in Egypt, was never raised in Rome. Right. Never took over the Roman Empire or anything. Mm-hmm. And anyway, Caesar withstood the siege of Alexandria, and later he defeated the pharaoh's forces at the Battle of the Nile in 47 BC. And at that time, he installed Cleopatra as ruler. Caesar and Cleopatra celebrated their victory with a triumphant procession on the Nile in the spring of 47 BC. The royal barge was accompanied by 400 additional ships, which is fucking insane. That's an insane amount of ships.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And Caesar was introduced to the luxurious lifestyle of the Egyptian pharaohs.
Oh.
So, I mean, Romans weren't especially lavish.
Yeah.
I mean, he was important. He was, famous politician. He was a dictator, but pharaohs lived different.
Oh, he was royalty now.
Oh, yeah. And that exposure to the lavish life may have been one of Caesar's many downfalls that led to his assassination.
Oh.
He took some of those royal tendencies back with him to Rome, and the Romans saw some of his elaborate events and wasteful extravagance as arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the end of part 1.
Oh, so he's now
so he's feeling himself as a god and as a pharaoh and as a whole bunch of stuff that he is not,
and he's basically has a child with the queen of Egypt, so he's
feeling himself.
He's definitely,
and nobody's in his way anymore.
No,
all he has is the Senate, and he basically makes his own, I mean, I'll get to this later, but he basically makes his own powers ultimate. Right. He can veto the Senate at any time.
Yeah, so basically he's turned into a dictator.
Yes, and actually he does make himself dictator. What does he call it? I have it in my notes.
Oh.
He eventually proclaimed himself dictator perpetuo, which is dictator for life.
Oh.
Dictator for life.
Dictator for life, yo!
In the beginning, when he first starts going after this dictator thing, he's like, I'll be dictator for a year, I'll be dictator for 10 years, I'll be dictator for 11 days, whatever, this like little things.
Little chunks.
And then he's like, you know what? I'm just going to make this dictator for life.
Yeah, because why not?
Okay, well, Caesar, you fucked yourself over.
Oh, okay. So we're going to hear all about that. And
oh, yeah. Part 2.
Almost said season 2.
Part 2's going to be
Stay tuned for season 2.
Stay tuned for season 2. And then, we have to come up with a new drink again.
I will. We're not making the Bloody Caesar. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Because
it's disgusting.
Because I do love a good Bloody Mary.
I don't.
I will tell you. I do. I actually love Bloody Marys. But I don't want no clam juice in it. It just kind of makes me want to hurl. So
clam juice makes me want to hurl. Just
yeah. So that's why I kind of stuck with the Italian theme, and we'll think of something else for part 2.
I'll come up with something.
And we'll do something fun.
I'll give you a keyword that you can go after.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, this is part 1. He hasn't even died yet. Like,
He's not even close to dead.
Where's the juice?
It's coming.
I'm excited for it. Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thanks for listening.
You can find us on Instagram at killerspiritspod. You can find us on TikTok at killerspiritspod. We would love to have you rate and review us. You can definitely do it on iTunes. It helps other people find us, and it's a really wonderful way to support us. And we would love that. And where else? Oh, you can email us at
killerspiritspod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk about one other thing.
Oh, okay.
Way to support the show and support yourself. We use an RSS feed host called buzzsprout.com.
Yeah.
And Buzzsprout is offering a $20 Amazon gift card after you pay for your first month of RSS feed hosting. And I will tell you, we are not geniuses.
That's an understatement.
Barely figured out this podcast, but Buzzsprout has made it so much easier. They are like a super easy platform to use. You literally just drag and drop your podcast. It hosted on all the websites. Like, you guys think we're really smart for like being on Spotify and Apple Music and all this. I didn't do that. Buzzsprout did it for us.
Yeah, they're awesome.
So if you want a $20 gift card for Amazon after your first month, I think it's as low as like $12 a month, depending on how many hours you want to host.
It's super affordable.
Super affordable. I will leave the link in the description.
Awesome.
On how you can get there.
Yeah. Thank you guys so
Thanks,
much.
guys.
We love you.
Bye.
Oh, wait. I was going to tell them to go make the drink.
Oh, yeah. Go make the drink.
Go make the Rubicon.
Oh, the Rubicon. What a good name.
It's a great name, and you're going to love it.
The march along the Rubicon.
The march. Okay, now we can say bye. Okay,
bye.
bye.